murder is now famous.
It is not a bad idea.
Sorry.
The more people who know, the greater our chances of finding out something of interest.
Poirot, I have a bad feeling.
Bad feeling. 又是信。
Poor Mr. Poirot, not so good at these little criminal matters as you thought yourself, are you? Rather past your prime, perhaps. Let us see if you can do any better this time. This time, it's an easy one. Churston on the 30th. Do try and do something about it. It's a bit dull having it all my own way, you know. Good hunting. Ever yours, ABC.
没有办法。
Good hunting. Did you hear that, Poirot? The murderer seems to be taking it all as a game, a challenge. He will strike on 30th in Churston. We must warn Scotland Yard.
By the way, Hastings, what day is it?
Well, looking at the calendar, it's the 30th. No time to lose. We must prepare our suitcases for Churston.
Mon Dieu, it is already 10 o'clock. I will call Scotland Yard immediately.
Immediately. 我开始紧张了，可是我也不晓得是怎么回事啊。Call 还是先打电话去。
Hello, Jap.
Where and when? Today?
I'll check. It is not a good time.
然后 leave 什么 Churston 啊 ，leave for 啊 ，prepare.
Daily Flicker, July 30, 1935. ABC affair, no progress. The alphabet murderer is still on the run. Ever since the police found the connection between the Bexhill and Andover affairs, the inquiry has barely progressed. In this issue, we are publishing provocative letters sent by the killer to Hercule Poirot. Unfortunately, they have not yet helped to find him. Daily Flicker, July the 26th, 1935. The Bexhill Horror. Young maid strangled on the beach. Killer struck at midnight. It is not a good time. Hastings, what you are doing is an absolute disaster. That is no way to pack suitcases.
Heavens, we must hurry. We have to get to Churston before the murder.
什么东西的 is banned and so
Hastings' order and method are always necessary, regardless of the circumstances.
Okay, okay. I'll let you pack them.
I'll let you pack them.
All the same, it really is a disgrace to leave your belongings in such a mess.
Such a mess.
Voila! It only took a minute.
Poirot, you were right. I've just consulted the ABC guide. There's no hurry. The next train doesn't leave till 11:45.
You see, there is no need to hurry. We will not be in Churston until tomorrow morning. After the murder.
But why has the murderer warned us so late? It's not what he usually does. Did he do it on purpose?
Purpose?
Very good question, Hastings. We should also compare the letter we have just received with the other two. Although I have very little doubt about what we will find. We've missed the 6:45 train, but we have plenty of time to catch the night train. Hastings' photo album. He is very proud of his bag.
搞古有时候我真搞不懂我在干嘛。New letter was from the
In his haste, Hastings tore the envelope. Pour Mr. Poirot. Not... Right, let us compare this new letter with the second one.
第二封信跟这一封信。
Let us examine this more closely. Certain characters in the two... Yes, this eye is weird. Right, let us... Yes, the eye characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar... Yes, the...
麻烦死，快点，好吧。
Right, let us go. That's right. The A. I have to find.
好快。
The W is. Right. Let. Of course. My theory was right. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Why does the murder warm us so late? With a wrong address. Betty of the whiskey got whiskey. Later C was Sam at the right date. 这样的我看不懂，所以我只能乱放。
The letter should have arrived in time. The postmark shows that it was sent 3 days ago. However, our man made a mistake in the address, which explains the delay. All the same, the post office took their time correcting the error.
Come on, Poirot. Your address is not quite as well known as that of Scotland Yard. Poirot, the telephone.
好，让我去接。有没有再快一点移动方法？
I have some news from Churchton. Bad news, I'm afraid. Sir Carmichael Clark was murdered while out on his evening walk.
Michael Clark.
Sir Carmichael Clark. The name is familiar to me.
He was a famous throat specialist, one of the best in London.
Famous throat.
A wealthy man. He retired to
Wealthy
Combside,
man.
a beautiful house by the sea. He collected antiques.
Are you going there?
Yes, let's meet on the train.
我们在火车站见面啊！突然想睡，我好远啊 ！Crystal， 好远啊！那是怎样？不能按就不要绿啊！哦，西楼边。
The victim is called Sir Carmichael Clark, one of the best throat
Michael
specialists in
Clark.
London. The body was still warm when we found it. If we'd been warned earlier, we definitely could have saved him.
It appears that the murderer made a mistake when he wrote his letter.
A mistake? Lucky for him.
And what if he did it on purpose?
No. He's defined his madcap rules and he's sticking to them. It's a matter of pride for him. Shall we go up to the house, Poirot?
You go, my friends. I will come soon.
Oh, we come soon. 我一直有成就解除诶，可是我没有时间。
Jab has emptied the victim's pockets and has laid out their contents on this piece of wax cloth.
这是什么啊？哦，戒指诶。
A signet ring, very probably with the Clark family's coat of arms.
那这个嘞？这个是钥匙诶。
It is pointless.
是羊在叫的。这是什么 Pocket Watch 啊？应该是有照片吗？
An Oriental dragon. It's an old piece, much older than the pocket watch on which it was fastened.
坏掉的时间是9:20。干嘛把钱漏着？
Nothing appears to be missing from this wallet.
看来是没有遗失什么东西。看来就是看尸体了。尸体。
Apart from the wound to the throat, the body is untouched. No cuts, no bruises. Sir Carmichael's throat was cut. It's a clean incision, a professional murder.
非常专业的这个杀手。哦。
An ABC guide. The murderer's customary signature, covered in blood this time. The gravel on the path has been sprayed with blood that covers a conical-shaped area, which starts at the body and becomes wider as it moves further from the bush. The body is just in front of a bush, one of the only bushes in the surrounding area.
而不是唯一的 bush。我们来看这边，对不对？
This place is very calming.
Very calming. Wildflower 野花。
The site is exceptional. It is easy to imagine that Sir Carmichael used to enjoy stopping here every evening.
不懂。什么 retired doctor 退休的医生吗？还是博士？其他的我都不会念，不管。然后这个是什么 X My Crime Scene 啊，去看，去哪里看？没有的，只能往回走是吧？
I'm not going to leave now. I still have some clues to find. The vegetation behind the bush has been trampled. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
现在就要算啊。What was her crime 什么 cell possession when he was killed? Precision. The body was found the only bush in the area. The body was still warm. 还是温暖的。The zone so sealable. The cover from the bush. The better bush.
Sir Carmichael had his back to the bush when the killer cut the throat from behind. A fatal blow that sprayed blood over a range of more than 1 meter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Deserve crime crazy the murder. The victim has a bag to the bush. The victim only have one wrong. The body has still warm. 什么 tram 什么 the bush, hide in the bush, behind the murder.
Have you finished, Poirot?
Chief Inspector, many questions remain unanswered, but I am certain of one thing.
The killer and the operation the murder was carefully planned.
The killer has prepared his crime very carefully.
Quite right. He must have known Sir Carmichael's movements well to plan such an attack.
That still could be the motive for the crime. The murder was very...
The murderer struck with terrible savagery.
Yes, blood flowed. It's the first time he's attacked a man. He armed himself accordingly.
Have you spoken to the victim's family, Chief Inspector?
I've spoken to the brother, Franklin Clark. I didn't get much out of him. He's yours. I must get the body removed.
他是你的，我必须要把尸体移走。 Oh,
To be honest, this inspector seems rather obtuse.
clock.
I'm counting on your friend Poirot to catch my brother's murderer. Ah, here he is now. Please, Mr. Poirot. Mr. Poirot, this is my brother's secretary, Miss Thora Gray.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Poirot.
Secretary.
Would you like some tea?
No, thank you, mademoiselle. I find it hard to digest. There is something very viril about him. There is something very viril about him. Franklin Clark is an adventurer, the sort of man that women like. There is something elegant about her.
Elegant， 为什么说它很 elegant？ Makeup。
She has good taste, except perhaps in her choice of jewelry.
Please excuse me.
It is not the right time. It is not the right time.
还是非讲话不可。我想
Hastings does not like very hot tea.
My brother's wife is gravely ill. You will probably want to question her, but I fear that it won't be possible today.
那我先跟你谈谈好了。be understanding. Accuse him. 马上呢
I insist, Mr. Clark. Please allow me to remind you that this is a murder inquiry.
Unfortunately, she is much too ill. She doesn't even know her husband is dead. I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid it's out of the question.
Of course, I understand. Someone set a trap for your brother. Who was familiar with his habits?
Everybody knew he took his evening walk at 8:30, and that he always followed the same path.
As what is a favorite book is what it was a drunk night. Drunk.
Was it your favorite novel?
The Railway Children by Edith Nesbit. I know it's a children's book, but it's enthralling.
So it was you who found the body.
Yes, along with the gardener.
Have you seen any strangers around the house recently?
No. As far as I know, nobody has been near the house.
没有人会靠近这个房子。Nobody near the
Miss
house.
Clark.
Oh, Lady Clark must have fallen from her chair. I have to help Miss Gray get her up.
Hastings, while our host is gone, let's examine the drawing room.
Drawing
But,
room.
Poirot, a gentleman shouldn't...
I take full responsibility. All you have to do is to leave the drawing room door ajar and let me know if anyone is coming.
Drawing room. 要趁机搜索就对了。
Dragon, dragon, dragon. Sir Carmichael showed himself to be very consistent in his collection's theme.
确实是非常多的 dragon， 还有 books。
Comside's private collection, purchases since 1920.
1920。
The catalogue for Sir Carmichael Clark's collection.
他的收藏品。
It is an emperor. His place at the center of the table is probably symbolic.
Symbolic.
A crane?
Crane 是什么意思
A dragon.
？A dragon， 它是指每一个符号代表的意义吗？
A turtle.
哦，这个青龙、玄武、白虎、朱雀，那这个就是白虎。
A tiger.
Tiger。一个
I'm not going to leave now.
Okay. And we go to see something.
Compass, point to the south. Bronze and magnetite, Han Dynasty, circa 210 BC, purchased. There are some very valuable objects here. It's locked.
It's locked.
Sir Carmichael's collection could rival that of a major museum.
确实是很像 museum。
Sir Carmichael's collect. It is blocked.
It is blocked.
Turtle, the dragon, the crane, and the tiger. I think I've already seen this motif somewhere. The position of each motif is correct, but they are not turned the same way as on the table.
Uh, 左边是蓝的，下面是黑的嘛？啊，左边是。这样子，这样子，这样子，这样子。
The position of each motif is correct, but they are not turned the same way as on the table.
真的吗？我看一下啊。
The cardinal points. This book could maybe help me. Each
哎，按错
cardinal
，sorry。
point is associated with one animal and one color.
Color 是对的，但是方位是错的呢。 朱雀是红色的嘛？
The position of each motif is correct, but they are not turned the same way as on the table.
Same way on the tables. Same on the tables. Same 吗？然后没有 same way 啊，没错啊。
Turtle, the dragon, the crane, and the tiger.
好了好了
I think I've
好了
already seen this
快
motif
点
somewhere.
快点！
The position of each motif is correct, but they are not turned the same way as on the table.
是 same way 啊
The position of each motif. The position of each motif is correct.
明明是 same 啊。
The position of each motif is correct.
我不知道，没错啊。
The cardinal points. This book could maybe help me. Each cardinal point is associated with one hand.
I don't get it.
It is blocked.
I don't get it.
The position of each motif is... The position of each motif is correct, but they are not turned the same way as on the table.
哦，这个要转哦。啊，好，我去看一下位置。